Hello and welcome to the Fox's Corner with your favorite Foxy Vale son, moi, Brian Fox. Don't forget, before we begin today's episode, to follow our Twitter, our Instagram, and like and subscribe this video below. Don't forget our new subreddit, our OK Buddy Brian Fox, all in the description below. And don't forget, if you can, to go to our Patreon and donate, because I am a broke boy and I like money. But anyway, I really do hope you can set up something so that I could do this regularly. But anyway, today our first really topic that I wanted to rant about for an hour before our first guest appears in, I believe, the next episode would be furry relationships. Now, do I have experience in this? Yeah, you could say so. I'm something of a ladies fox. Yeah, that's the term, right? Actually, I've dated more men in this fandom than women, but anyway. Sorry, that was a furball. Anyway, I would say that I do have some experience in this, but it's mostly online because it's very hard to find furries in your area because it always feels like they are literally right next to you, or they're 1,000 miles away in like Narnia or something, or some made-up land like Liechtenstein or Switzerland or whatever. But yeah, there is a lot of dating in this fandom. You know, we're a very Marie-Purry place. If you remember what happened to the app Pounced, unfortunately that got taken down, I believe, for, what was it, a COPPA violation or whatever, for that, I don't know, I forgot what it, like child exploitation or whatever, but anyway, yeah, there is a lot of dating in this fandom. In fact, the very first account that followed me on my like OG Twitter before I deleted it was actually furrymate.com. And that was, you know, that was a trip. But yeah, so I think what this fandom really needs in terms of dating is maybe a lesson on the birds and the bees, but then I remember like most furries reproduce by mitosis or something, so it doesn't really apply here. So you know, there's that. Although, you know, I don't want to knock this fandom too much because I do think we have a lot to be appreciative of. Like, you know, we don't really adhere to the kind of normie, you know, Victorian days of Western beauty standards, which, you know, while beauty standards can be cool, they can be also kind of cringe, at least if you force them on everybody. Like, not everybody is a Western 10. Or actually, let me give a good example would be, you can be a California 5 and be an Idaho 10. Now, I'm not being elitist, although I am implying that California is the best state in the union, but I am implying that not everybody, what I think is cool and what you think is cool, what you think looks nice and what I think looks nice are obviously two very different things, unless you are my mitotic twin. So, yes, I pronounced that right. My twin from mitosis, yes. But yeah, we don't really adhere to that, like, kind of Western old school values, which are pretty out of date nowadays. So, you know, at least we move beyond that. I think, okay, serious point here. I think furries are the best at really differentiating from other groups in dating, in the sense that we actually have a very good mix of people in the arts dating people in STEM. I think that's a very big accomplishment that I don't think anybody really gives us credit for, because we do find a way to like mix these two communities together without really any issue at all. Like, we pretty much flawlessly intermix like that. I mean, I consider myself STEM just because I am a nursing major, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind dating some in the arts, but that's more because the fandom kind of raised me in that way to believe that, you know, it's perfectly fine. But, and, you know, if you look at popular fursuiters, there are people, I think, well, one thing that should be mentioned is obviously a good fursuit can get you pretty far in dating, if I'm being honest with you here, but, you know, there's people from STEM, there's people from the arts, I've seen some people in business. I remember that one Finnish furry who's an entrepreneur, although I forgot his name currently. You know, people of all backgrounds, people of all occupations, people of basically every color I've seen. We actually are pretty diverse in some places, and that's good. We're a very global fandom. But yeah, so anyway, about furrymate.com. My only rant is, why haven't you followed me back on my new Twitter, huh? That would be very nice. Anyway, I would add in addition that we'd probably need a more unified app because I feel like there's like 5 apps for furry dating, and I don't even remember all of them, but I do know one of them was like, was it Growler? Or what was it? I don't even remember, but it was like a big one a while back. In addition, I would also say that, I'm just going to be real with you here, from one fox to another. If you ever say partner in crime, no, she's just underage, okay? So, just a heads up. And I'm a little cynical because, I've been in this fandom for so long, like, I basically grew up with it, so I can say this, straight dating in the furry fandom is just as hard as gay dating in real life, and by real life, I just mean, like, normie spaces. Yes, it is hard. It is ridiculously hard. I am not kidding. On Kick, if I remember correctly, I've probably, now, this is a while back when I RP'd, when you role play being your cringy teenage furry self, if I remember correctly, I probably encountered 4 females for every 25 guys. Which, and listen, I know the furry fandom's kind of a boys' club. I really wish we could be a little more mixed because I think that shows more acceptance. I think that shows we're a diverse fandom, and I think that shows that we are open to all forms of dating, including normie dating, And I understand that maybe the media hyper-focuses on the straight furries a lot, at least whenever they try to do, like, documentary pieces on them, which I can agree with that. Sometimes they tend to focus on maybe the more mainline standard stuff, but their media, they're going to focus on what's the most marketable, unfortunately, and the furry fandom is also very weird to outsiders. So they're trying to make it as, I guess, palatable as possible to, like your parents or your very Catholic grandmother who just wants, to see a clean-hearted image of a community that probably isn't if you look deep enough, but, that's just how it be. What I would say, though, is that this fandom is pretty easy to date if you know what you're doing, though. I think a lot of popular people always have dates. In fact, I think there's so many that you can be poly. I mean, come on. Yes, polyamory. For when 2 incomes just isn't enough anymore. Aha. But, yeah, so, if you want me to be, not the wing, I was going to say wingman, but I'm like, I like wings because, well, I have helped people try to find dates a few times. It is hard because when a lot of people are either taken or not interested, so that usually complicates things, but I would say in my personal dating life, I have probably dated 4 furries. And it goes back very far. I remember dating, the first guy was on Kick, and he had a furry profile picture, and his name was Christian. And the only thing I remember about him was he was from across the country, and that he was about my age, was a little bit older, but nothing ridiculous. Furball. What I would say is, though, he was pretty, I felt like I rushed into it, so I just ended it within a week, and then me being a dummy decided, my glue-brained fox brain decided to, let me date another guy immediately after, right? And then this person was Anthony, and it was like 2 weeks. I don't know why, I talked about him publicly one time, like for the brief moment we were together, and everyone was like, oh, hey, you dear boy over here decided to do X, and I'm like, dear boy, I don't even, they basically made up a species for him, middle school's weird, but we dated for a couple weeks, and then it ended, and I remember I dated some guy named Anton who was in my area for, like, I don't know, like 4 months. He was a lot older, like, probably suspiciously older, like, what's the term? I was the partner in crime in that case, but, I obviously the details are hard to go back into because it was so long and I barely remember him. Everything was just kind of, a memory. But I do remember he tried to hit on me on Skype, and it was Skype. That was it. That's all I remember. Some Skype stuff happened. He wasn't interested. He was already. Oh no, wait. I remember why I was mad because he was already dating somebody. He didn't tell me, which actually frustrated me. So I just left. But yeah, and then but yeah, this partner in crime left early. But yeah, and then I remember for like I want to say 4 months, I dated a guy named Dylan who's from like across the country. He was this cute Cuban person who had a very nice persona. He was obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's, if I remember that. Back when it was like when it was like really early, like super early, like you remember middle school when they wouldn't be quiet about it, like that point. Actually, okay, unrelated, but I do have a tangent. There was a guy named Charles that I knew, and he kind of had a lisp. He wasn't like the smartest guy. He got kicked out of my school because of some stuff, but Charles would always talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. That's all I remember about him. And when I sit next to him, that's all he talked about. Like, all of it. And what's a shame is, I remember when he got kicked out, I actually missed Charles looking back. And the only thing I remember was a guy who said his name was Charles, right? And he said he got in a fight. And then he texted me, of all people, like in 8th grade, which was like or not 8th grade. I don't remember specifically, but it was like there was a time when he texted me, like I think the school year after he left. And I'm like, that was so weird. Unfortunately, I lost that number because it was like an old phone I had. But it's like, wow, that was something else, It was like out of nowhere. It's like, imagine a year went by and somebody you haven't seen in like not like somebody you barely knew. By the way, I never even gave him my number. So I'm like, how the hell did he know? That's what confused me more. It was like so weird. But anyway, back to the main topic because I have the attention span of a goldfish as a fox. Anyway, yeah, so then I dated Dylan for a while. I told him that I loved him, which was like really naive at the time because it's like, I was pretty young and I didn't know what I was doing. So it was like, we exchanged some intimate images, I think. No, I think it was mainly just like art that we mainly exchanged, and that was it. And we moved on from there. And then I decided to date normies for a while. Well, okay. I wouldn't say normies. They were in fandoms too. I remember one was a Pegasister. I believe that's what you call female bronies if they choose to. So I'm going to say Pegasister, who was like really into anime. I would watch anime with her. She was a sweetheart. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want I want to keep this as private as possible because this is a very intimate details. But yes, I do remember, I went to their shows. She was a performer for like some local productions at my local community college, I believe. Very talented person, if I may add. Very good artist. I believe I still follow her as a friend. I have not seen her art in a while. She's a very busy person. She also has a very short attention span because I know that because when I texted her during our not brief, it was like 13 months. It was like our sizable relationship and friendship. She was definitely a busy person who was often distracted by other things, which is understandable. I'm guilty of that too. But when it ended, it was just because they were going to move soon. And, I respected that. Obviously, I wasn't at first, but, eventually I matured and I realized, okay, you have to move on. You have your own life, I have mine, and that's just how things are. It was definitely saddening, but, it was going to happen eventually. People just have different life paths, and that's fine. And then after that, I was just kind of off again, on again, off again with, like, a bunch of people, and it wasn't really anything formal. There was one person, I guess, but that kind of ended really awkwardly, and now I have to owe like a ton of money to them. But that's another story for another day. I would say currently I'm single, right? Now, obviously, I am not looking because honestly, dating has just kind of I'm turned off to dating now. It's like, after being the partner in crime, after all these horrible breakups that I had to do or they had to do to me. It just hurts so much right now, and I'm a busy guy because, I'm a nursing major, so, very busy person. And also, if I'm I'm gonna marry up because I am a filthy capitalist fox. But anyway, yeah, if I'm gonna marry into wealthy. I want to be like the Ann Nicole Smith of foxes. If if you're old enough to remember that reference. um, no, but yeah, I'm gonna marry up. That's for sure. I want to be like I want to break the gender norms. I want to be like the first. What's the how like a what's it called when you're like the super rich husband who just stays home, the stay-at-home husband, house husband? Is that the term? I don't think anybody. I'm joking here. Obviously, I still want a very long and meaningful career, but you know, a fox can dream, can he? But yeah, very very packed schedule. I don't see how relationships can fit into that. Uh, yeah, but that's really all I could say in terms of furry dating. Although, one thing I can say is I feel like furry relationships are often very superficial because they're not often in real life. Like, I don't really know that many real life furry relationships unless it's like marriage. And also, I think my only complaint is I feel like it's actually the furry fandom has a dependency problem. And what I mean by that is, let's say you get into the fandom. Congratulations. Congratulations. You can never leave. Now, you can date outside the fandom, and it does happen, but it's not really common. Usually you stay inside the fandom basically forever. I've never seen a furry leave. Now, are we a cult? Uh, no, but if we're the best unintentional cult there ever was. Like, I've never seen a community manage to keep people this long and have people this satisfied for this long. Like, I think all the cults in the world are jealous of this community. But, yeah. You can't really date outside of the fandom. It's hard. If you do, you kind of have to bring them in, and then you have to, like, explain to them the fandom, and if they're interested, they join. But if they're, like, not interested, it just creates this awkward thing of, like, well, if this means so much to you, you can't really leave. And I understand the people who kind of use the fandom as a tool for, like, their entire social life. Like, honestly, I used to mock people who used to dedicate, like, their lives to the fandom, but then it's like, that's basically what I did for my adolescence. Like, that's basically what it was. It was usually furry, and it was usually, like, certain segments of the community that were usually in, like, very niche circles. And, I definitely enjoyed myself. I definitely made very nice friends. I've made pretty decent dates over that time, even if they were all long distance. Would I mind dating in real life? I don't mind, but again, very busy person. I'm scared of marriage, if I'm being honest with you. I just see it as kind of outdated. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll find maybe this fox will find his crystal. You never know. Stuff happens. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, then I sure hope I am. Actually, if I had a furry themed wedding, who would show up? I really want to know. Like, in the comments down below, I genuinely want to know. Would you dress up in suit and tie with full fursuit to a wedding? And not just any wedding, like a very nice wedding at, like, I don't know, some not a beachfront, probably like a cliffside view of, like, the ocean or something, like the cliffs of Dover. Would recommend that you Google it. It's very pretty. But yeah, would you? I definitely would. If it was like a very popular furry invited me, I would be so happy. I would definitely go. If I had, like, the resources and the money, I would absolutely go. No, but yeah, so yeah, furry themed wedding. What would I put? I would put like two foxes, like, either yelling at each other for it, or I would have, like, I really hope that the company that owns the Star Fox franchise doesn't sue me for this, but I would definitely want, like, Fox and Crystal on there, or Fox and Wolf on there, depending, like, what sex they are or what gender they are. If they don't want any of that, that's fine, but holy cow, that would be so awesome if we just put, like, Fox and Wolf or Fox and Crystal on, like, the top of the wedding cake, and it's like a beautiful theme. Like, yes, okay, yes, I know I am a nerd, I know I am a simp, and I know that I am a coomer, but like I coom, I zoom, I don't foom, I don't even know what that is, but that's life. We live and we live and we game end. That's just how it is. Uh, yeah, I would absolutely love a furry wedding, and I cannot stress this enough. Holy cow! I mean, that's the thing. I don't like marriage, but I like weddings. It's like when you ever see female furries or like they're like they really like breeding and they like look in the tags of like E621 for that, and then it's like, welp, I don't like pregnancy though. I don't want to have a kid, but it's like they're into that. It's like I feel the same way about marriages and weddings. That's just how it is. I need that one meme of the dog that's like what was it, like breeding? Yes. Pregnancy? No. No, no, no pregnancy. No, but yeah, also, I think if I ever had a wedding, it would have to be like a big one. Now, obviously, because of the no virus, I can't exactly have a wedding right now for a while. Also, I don't really, I'm single, so, not really feasible, but that's just how it is. Life comes at you fast. What else have I not mentioned yet? I would say I've definitely seen some sketchy relationships. You know what I mean? It's like what's a good example? Like you ever see popular furries where it's like, hey, this person's kind of cool, and you find out they're like grooming them or something. Like I don't. The word grooming has effectively been ruined in my mind because when I was growing up, when I heard of groomer, I heard of like the pet groomer, the dog groomer from down the street that had like the portable pod thing that would drive around suburban streets and making your dog look like an egg, or making your poodle look even more like a poodle. Stuff like that. Make your dog look French. And that's just how it was. And then furry terminology decided to make the word groomer be affiliated with literally the worst thing on the planet. And it feels like every week there is a new furry being caught doing that. It's like all those weekly like call out threads of like furries getting caught, and they're usually like people of like mid-tier to high-tier status in the fandom, like the really popular ones, the popufurs. Please forgive me for this terminology right now, but it's the popufurs that are doing all this stuff, and it's like who's our Epstein, like is there a QAnon for furries? I'm probably gonna get banned for this, but is there? I feel like there is. That's why I tweeted like on my main account a while back, like, is there any good furry conspiracy theories that I'm not aware of? If there are, send them to me. That'll be kind of fun to review if I don't get banned off of this channel already. But yeah, I mean, I hope we find some cool stuff. And by cool stuff, I mean like I hope nobody gets hurt. Man, I really shouldn't have got into that topic. I know I'm going to get a lot of people mad because I do know there's a few furries that are really into that. I guess yeah, conspiracy is the word, but I digress. Back to dating. No, but yeah, I mean, I say that dating in this fandom is very superficial. I feel like you have to have like commissions approved, like you were a thing for a while, and I've seen a bunch of it. It is ridiculous. Like this basically, I mean, I think on Valentine's Day, Fur Affinity is like the busiest place on the planet besides Cornhub, like, but those are the two places that are like the busiest on Earth. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying we're very romantic animals. And that's just how it be. I just wish there were more, not more rules, but I just kind of wish we were more careful. Because, I don't want the furry Jeffrey to be popping up. I don't want I don't want this fandom to be the next Smash Bros community, if you know what I mean. Like I just don't want I don't want us to have that reputation. Like when you're a kid and you tell your parents like I'm a furry, mom and dad, the last thing I want to hear from people like, your guardians is something like, Oh, you mean the groomer community? And it's like, I guess we do it to dogs. And it's like, no, it's children too. It's like, I don't want people to associate us with that. I know we're not the cleanest community, but I want us to be a community where we're welcoming of all ages, which is why I always side with minors in terms of the debates and of like, I think minors are perfectly welcome in this fandom. I've been here for a very long time. I've mostly come out unscathed. I've probably been hurt by normies more than furries if I really think about it, but that's just, that's just how it is. I hope it continues to be a safe community for its youngest members. I have seen, like, actually what surprises me is, since we're on the topic of relationships and marriage, I have seen, like, furry generations. And what I mean by that is, I have seen furries where it's like, so they get married, and then they have children, and then their children end up being furries. And I'm like, holy cow, like, we're seeing second-gen furries. I would have never thought we got to this point. It's so weird to see. It's so surreal to see it. Because it's like, I know this fandom's very old, like, it predates a lot of communities. We're not really, like, a young place. I mean, I think the first documented evidence of furries was, like, the tail end of the 70s, forgive my pun. That was, like, the first, I guess that's the first, like, the proto-furry fandom started, and then we kind of evolved into what we are now, but, it's like, it's weird seeing second-generation furries, and I'm talking, like, these really impressionable young, like, 12, 13, 14-year-olds who are, like, wearing fursuit parts, and, they're usually on TikTok for some reason, or music. I remember Musically, too. Musically had a very large, like, 12-year-old, 13-year-old audience, and I remember that because it was that one photo with Majiro Strawberry posing with them at a convention. I thought that was actually pretty cool. As long as they're safe and they're happy, more power to them. That was pretty cool. It was, how do I say this politely and in the most Foxley manner possible? There is a very large fandom with a lot of people, and obviously bad things happen, and I hope nothing bad happens. I mean, expect the worst, hope for the best. That's what they taught me in nursing school. I attended Furry University, if you haven't noticed already. Well, I am attending, but, it's so second generation furries. It's like I think it'd be cool to see like grandchildren. That would be kind of cool. Like it just keeps going, and we see like, we see people like, when I was a kid, I was a silent suitor, and it's like, okay, grandma, sure you were, like. I want to see some fursuit heads in, like, retirement homes, I want to see some black and white furry images, damn it. I want to see, like, common furry characters be in museums in the future. I want, like, a furry art museum for, like, grandkids. Like, I want my social security to go to commissions. That doesn't sound depressing at all. Actually, no, that sounds pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that. Like, furry fandom means a lot to me. If I can shuffleboard in my fursuit, I'm going to die a very happy fox in Minecraft. Yeah, I mean, furry dating leads to furry marriage, and then I don't know how, but by mitosis, we make the next generation, and then we make the next one in a lab or something. I don't know how it works. And then CRISPR, we have furry grandchildren, and no more money for fursuits. We save money, it's a done deal. That's just how it is. I really hope we continue to have more second-gen furries. I hope we continue to have safe places for our furry children. Is there a furry state yet? The Furno state? Is that what it's called? We need to protect the future. I hope that they're raised in a very clean and safe environment. I think I've said this way too many times now, but yeah. If you haven't noticed already, I have a lot of fur balls coming out of my mouth today. No, but yeah, I think that's all I can really make a true rant about in terms of furry dating. I guess the only other topic I could mention for today, I guess, would be furry friendships too, if we're gonna go on that topic. I actually like how the furry fandom has this cool, like, barrier between not the barrier. I'd say like there's a lot of fluidity between friendships and relationships, which can be a good thing if you know what you're doing. I think it's a very fluid motion. Like you could be friends one day and then just kind of do stuff the next, and then just kind of be friends the whole time, and that's cool because I think that our idea that you have to be one or the other in a very like straight cut manner, it doesn't shouldn't have to be that way. I think there can be instances, at least when you're young and you're still, you're still learning, you're still experimenting. That's nice. I don't think you should marry right away. I have seen people do that in the fandom too, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with maturing and giving it time. And I've definitely, all of the people that I've dated were definitely people that I've known for a while. I don't like to jump into things. I just kind of end it there and then move on. Now I learned this lesson early. Don't spend ridiculous amounts of money on friendships, because if you treat a friend like an ATM, the bank's eventually going to shut down, buddy. Like that's just how it is. I'm not a check cashing place. I'm not a bank. I'm not your ATM. And I see the same way too. I reciprocate that, I'm not your gas station ATM that charges you $12 every time you use it. That's just not who I am. I don't like I think money ruins it. I think money soils any good relationship if you put too much money into it. I don't really believe in really expensive gifts. I do like spoiling my friends. My relationships, but I have to do it in a meaningful way where I don't expect anything back. It has to be occasional, don't do it too much. There's nothing wrong with wanting to give gifts to your people in your skulk, if that's what it's called. But if you're going to do it right. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention, polyamory in this fandom is so common that it actually surprises me. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say polygamous because I don't really see marriage like that here in the Western world, but polyamory is pretty common in this fandom and actually surprises me. Like, I have seen people who are, like, dating, like, 2-3 people. I saw, like, a polycule of, like, 5-6 people one time, and I'm like, wow. I guess 2 incomes isn't enough. But, I don't know. I think that complicates things a lot because one person I already struggle with, if you haven't noticed my long and extensive dating record, but, yeah, if you want to add like 2, 3, 4 people, that just feels like 2, 3, 4 more hearts to break. But you know what? If you can manage that without any problem, and if you can do that without any like, if you don't hurt them, and as long as everybody's okay, yeah, go right ahead. I always joke around saying I want to create the polycule of power. I just want to like incorporate more and more people into the polycule. And then I want to do world domination, like I'm a very evil fox if you haven't noticed. First we need to get the political control and then the media, and when we just go on from there until you will see foxes on every TV show. That's just how, I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Oh, wait, I do now. That's just how it be. Thank you for listening to the dumb ramblings of a fox, by the way. That was like... I don't even know where I was going with that. But, by the way, for the first video, I believe in the first hour, I had made, like 12 views, which is actually pretty good. I really thank everybody that saw it. I would like to thank, the first follower, Leggy, who subscribed, on the first video. That really means a lot. I had a few before, you, Leggy, which were just, people who heard about the channel and pre-subscribed. I don't want to mention them right away, but thank you, Leggy, by the way. 1,000 thank yous. You really did a lot. It really boosted my confidence. I really hope to make more videos in the future. But, yeah, it's going to be a long ride from here, You're probably going to hear this channel when I'm, probably having a wife and kids, or in the polycule of power, whichever ends up happening. But yeah, I really thank everybody for helping me out in the first video, and for the next video, will be our guest, Mastro, I believe is his name, and he will be discussing money. So, it's going to be a very fun episode. Yeah, I'm going to the quality of the video might change because we're going to be recording this on a different medium. I'm recording this from my own phone, which has a very nice camera. But yeah, I mean, I hope everybody has fun. Thank you for tuning in. It was a very fun experience, and see you next week. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to, if you can, drop a little bit into the Patreon fund if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. This is Brian Foxy, your favorite Foxy Fail son, and I am now signing out. Bye.